We have had something like 6 inches of rain over the last week. So as you can imagine, our driveway is looking pretty rough right now. So let's see if we can go fix it. So the road is so messy that I'm gonna need more traction. I'm gonna need 4-wheel drive for this project. Spider web. So I'm gonna take the box blade off of, oh, there's a spider on my arm, off my arm. Anyway, I'm gonna take the box blade off of the Ford 3000. We're gonna put it on the Kubota. So I wanted to show y'all what we're dealing with here. This is our yard, and it's really at the top of a hill, and the water that comes off of the top of this hill goes straight down this driveway. And I put ditches in the road, but sometimes the water is just too much, and if this ditch, this very first ditch, breaks, it creates all kinds of problems. And these are the problems I'm talking about. Here's the pond at the bottom of the hill. You see we've got some silt going into the pond, and we want to try to drag that out without getting stuck. And here are the other issues that it causes. So right down here, the water gets super fast, and if there's enough volume, it is just going to create ruts. This rut right here, and it's up to my top of my boot, really. It's pretty bad. So let's see if we can get this fixed. So that's pretty well got the ruts filled in and the road smoothed out there. But I just noticed a problem that we really need to deal with before we do anything else. My water separator on the Kubota has got a fair amount of water in it. It's not quite up to the level where it's an emergency, but I don't feel good about that water. So we're gonna go ahead and get that out. So this is about 200 hours worth of water here. And so I don't know if this is good or bad, quite honestly. So that made me pretty nervous too. I checked YouTube and it looks like you're supposed to use pliers to loosen this ring, which I would not have thought. It's got to be a special tool for this. Oh, there it goes. So unfortunately, I don't have a new one of these little elements right here, so we're just gonna have to do the water for now. All right, so I got that drained out and cleaned out. So we'll put this back in, and then we have to bleed the fuel system. Before we get gravel, I want to check this field here. This field, we had soybeans in this field this year, and you can still see the remnants of the soybeans here, but it's a small field, and you know, there was just no way that it was going to survive the browsing pressure to make anything for the fall for the deer. So what I want to do, of course, is harrow it up and plant something for the fall right here. But I'm really thinking it's going to be way too wet today. We've gotten 6 inches or so of rain over the last week or so, so I don't think I need to fool with it today. I don't know, we'll see. If I've got time after I get done with the driveway and stuff, I may put the harrow on and see how it acts. So I'm headed to the gravel pile on the tractor, and the tractor is wanting me to do a regen on the DPF filter. So for anybody who is fortunate enough to not have a Tier 4 diesel engine, I'm going to share kind of what's involved in that. So every now and then these two lights will start blinking on the dash of the Kubota, and that just means that the DPF filter is not stopped up, but it's got particulates in it that it wants to burn off. And it's pretty simple and straightforward. All I do is advance the throttle to a certain spot, and it just does it for about 15 minutes, and then it's over. I can keep using the tractor while it's doing it. It's not really a huge hassle. It's just that it's something on the engine that doesn't need to be there. When the regen on the tractor started, I set a stopwatch and it took about 12 minutes. So it's not that it's a huge inconvenience. I just don't see what the benefit is, because it causes the tractor to burn a lot more fuel, not just during the regen, but during normal operation. And if I'm burning more fuel, I can't figure out how I'm helping the environment by having clean exhaust. I don't know. Anyway, let's work on the driveway. So gravel on this driveway is of course very helpful, but the main source of protection is these ditches. So let's go ahead and pull these ditches back out and we will be done with this project. All right, so that gives us 4 ditches on this road. I'm gonna have to bite the bullet at some point and get me some more gravel, I think. As you can see, I didn't get a whole lot on the road, but anyway, let's go to the next thing. So I showed you this earlier. This is some of the silt that went into the pond in the last rain because of the road. I'm gonna try to get some of it out with the backhoe and just hope I don't get stuck. So not too bad. We got a lot of that silt out of there, and I think what I'm going to have to do ultimately is try to get the water to all go to this side of the road instead of to this side, and I think that's the only thing that's going to stop it. But that worked pretty good. Let's go to the next thing. Actually, before we start on the next project, I want to put some winter rye down out here just to help with erosion control. I think the natural vegetation is going to come back pretty quick, but until it does, I just want to get some extra erosion control going here. I forgot my rake, so I'm just going to kind of walk over this and see if I can get the seeds kind of pressed down into the ground. Not that big of an area, shouldn't take long. Winter rye is so great, it'll just grow. Anyway, it would probably grow right on top of this dirt, no problem. So this will just help it out. A couple of days ago, or a few days ago, I guess, my son and I were outside and he didn't have shoes on, so I was carrying him and I needed to do something that would take maybe a minute or two. So I just opened the door to my truck and I put him in the driver's seat and kept the door open and let him play around, and wouldn't you know it, he locked the door. So as soon as I got him out and shut the door, I was locked out of my truck. So now we got to break into my truck. So as you can imagine, I've had to do this before, because I've only got one set of keys for my truck. And it's actually kind of scary how easy it is to break into this truck. In fact, I'm going to set a timer. 3 minutes and 17 seconds. So let's go ahead and put the Harrow on the tractor and we'll see if we can disc that field up. So guys, that's gonna have to do it for today. I've got to go right now and take my daughter to her archery practice, but we did get some of it done. We didn't quite get all of it done, and it actually did till up pretty good. So there was quite a bit of drag on it from the wet soil, of course, but overall it did pretty good. I'll come back here in maybe a couple of days with some fertilizer, finish disking this up, and get some fertilizer and seeds down, and I'll try to video that as well. So a lot of y'all are probably wondering, why in the world am I tilling up these soybeans? Because soybeans make great winter food for deer, right? Well, let me find one here and I'll show you. So I think this is a pretty good example, except there's not a lot of beans on this. Most of them have more beans than this. You see there's a lot of browse pressure going on these beans, and this is a fairly small plot. It's probably 1.5 acres of beans that we had out here, and the deer just nipped them off all throughout the year, nipped off the leaves, and they kept growing and growing, of course, but you know, the beans were really not ever able to reach their full potential, which was okay because they got a lot of good nutrition just out of these leaves. Would have been cool if they had been able to make it into the winter. Then I could have broadcast some oats or some rye out between these beans, and they would have had grain and greens out here. But that's why we're just disking it all up, because these beans are not going to last. There are not a whole lot of beans out here for them to take through the winter. So we're really just better off putting in something new, and we're going to put in this mix from Real World Wildlife Products called Harvest Salad. It's got several different seeds in it, and different things become palatable at different times, so it's kind of like an all-year food plot. Some of y'all might be thinking, have you ever done a soil test out here? Oh yeah, we've done soil tests. Did one maybe 5 years ago and one maybe a year ago. The one that we did a year ago, our pH came back to 7, so can't beat that, right? So at this point, I'm just kind of maintaining. We won't bother with the pH at all this year. We won't do another soil test this year. We'll just put fertilizer down in our seeds. We may do another soil test next year or the next, but at 7, that's pretty good. If you can maintain that, you'll do pretty good. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate y'all watching this video, and I'll see y'all on the next one.